Torrential downpours. Mother Nature throws us a holiday curveball. The damage today's weather left behind. Back to school. The issues school districts face as they try to balance learning with COVID-19 lurking. Brand new season.
It felt as energetic as anything we've ever done.
You won't believe the obstacles American Ninja Warrior had to overcome to bring us must-see TV. And food savings.
Look to see where you're spending your money.
Some easy tips to lower your grocery bill and keep more money in your wallet.
From the WKYC studios, this is Front Row.
And welcome to the Monday edition of Front Row. I'm Laura Queso. Thanks for being with us on this stormy Labor Day.
It is definitely a little damp but a little dreary out there, and it's been like that through the entire day today. Storms brought torrential rain in many locations, and as you can see, boy, flash flooding was a huge problem throughout the day today, especially here. This is MLK Boulevard in Cleveland. This is the Cultural Gardens area, and you can see where those water came up, flooded out the road, and some cars decided to try and get in there, and that didn't go so well for them. So that's why we always tell you, turn around, don't drown. That's an easy one to remember. I always like to refer to floodwater as Mother Nature's overflowing toilet. It's pretty disgusting, and I wouldn't want to walk in it, that's for sure. So it's best just to avoid it altogether. Here's the latest look at the radar right now, and we still have some very heavy rain. A lot of that is south now, even south of Holmes County. At 6 o'clock when we updated, the southern half of Holmes County was getting torrential rain. Now that is moving off toward the southern sections of Tuscarawas County. But we also have a few little blips on the radar farther north that we're keeping an eye on. And all of this is, generally speaking, going to fade to the south as we go through the next several hours. Let's get in here to our southern counties. We have just east of Medina headed out toward Sharon Township area. We've got a little heavy shower there, a little boomer. A few lightning strikes around the Portage Lakes area, but most of the active weather is south. Southern sections of Stark County getting heavy rain right now, down into Carroll and Tuscarawas counties especially. Coshocton County is bearing the brunt of it, but you can see the showers continue farther west into portions of Wayne County and western Holmes County. We also have some of these flood advisories that continue in portions of northeast Ohio. The dark green, those are river flood warnings. We're going to talk about those coming up in just a little bit. Remember, all the water eventually makes it into the rivers and then the lake, or the Ohio River eventually, but depending upon where you are, it's a lot of water that we have to drain out. So it's going to take some time. We've gotten anywhere from 4 to upwards of 6+ inches of rain in some locations. Some other rain gauges here in northeast Ohio, 3 3/4 inches or so by Gil Brucken. This is in Medina. And then also a very beautiful, very nice rain gauge here in Willowick is from Click RLK, 1 5/8 inches. Good measuring there, certainly. But we have had more than that. And some of our friends out in the community sent us pictures, and we can't thank you enough for that. This is Shaker Heights Country Club. The golf course there turned into a huge lake, so water hazard for all in this case. I don't know that anybody was necessarily even on the golf course, of course, but we also have pictures that came to us out of Twinsburg, much of northeast Ohio, looking like this earlier. Look at that ominous cloud as the storms rolled in. We also have Medina County, Lake Brunswick, that is out of its banks. You can kind of see here the grassy area, the bridge that, well, is surrounded by water, so it's not very, very useful at this point, but nothing is compared to the rivers at this point. All of the water is draining into the rivers right now. This is the Chagrin River, well over its banks in Gates Mills, and it's a good look at what can happen when we get a lot of rain in a short amount of time. And that flash flooding was a huge issue today. Remember, you can text us pictures or video, 216-344-3300. That's a text, it's not a phone call. You can text us. And you can also send your pictures and your video through the WKYC app or post them on Twitter or Instagram. Use the hashtag 3weather. We definitely love to see all of that. Well, our Mark Namick is in Summit County right now with more on how today's rains and flooding are affecting northeast Ohioans. Mark, you staying safe out there?
I am, and almost dry. It's just starting to drizzle a little bit, but we've been seeing that, as you said, all day, on and off. And you know, and we have some lightning going on too. You'll see that over my left shoulder. It's already been a Labor Day, of course, to forget, and hard to get past the fact that coronavirus has closed and canceled so many events that people love, like the air show. But the skies did put on its own show today, and heavy rains here in Summit County. I'm in Stowe near Route 8, and it was a pretty heavy rain earlier today. From Lorain County to Geauga to Medina and Summit, flash floods and road closures. Parma and Cleveland and those communities often punished by heavy rains getting hit again. Cars swamped on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in Cleveland. Main thoroughfares throughout Shaker Heights turned into lakes as sewers backed up, stranding some motorists and leaving some basements flooded. One resident showing off the damage on Facebook, expressing frustration with high taxes and 5 floods in 4 years. As much as 5 inches of rain falling in some places, the National Weather Service advising people to stay home. By mid-afternoon, roads throughout the Cuyahoga Valley National Park were closed. 2 portions of Route 8 also shut down, including a southbound section in Stowe, not far from Blossom Music Center. About 45 minutes ago, police removed the orange barrels, because we never see enough of those, from this on-ramp here at Seasons Road to reopen at least this portion of southbound Route 8. Now, when we drove by earlier, a photographer and I, it was almost a foot deep in some places. And the roads around Route 8 were also really heavy. It started to calm down just a little bit. I think the best advice, Betsy, is to still stay off the roads. Enjoy something streaming on your TV tonight and stay safe.
Definitely do that. And Mark, you get in the car and get to safety, you and your photog tonight too. Thanks a lot for the report.
I like how you put that. The sky certainly putting on a show for us today. All right, time now to put you, of course, in the front row to other top stories making news today. Here's 77 seconds at 7.
Cleveland police continue to ask anyone who knows something about the killing of Detective James Skirnowitz to come forward. Detective Skirnowitz was shot and killed Thursday night at West 65th and Storer Avenue during an undercover drug operation. An informant with him was also killed. 3 people were taken into custody but have not been charged. There were 778 new COVID cases in the state today. That's well below the 3-week average. There were also 17 deaths, again below the average. Lawmakers are heading back to Washington for an abbreviated pre-election session. However, hopes are dimming for another COVID relief bill. Talks between top Democrats and the Trump administration broke off last month and remain at a standstill. Fire officials say a gender reveal party is to blame for a fire burning in Southern California. They say a smoke-generating pyrotechnic device used at a party Saturday started the fire. So far, it's burned more than 7,000 acres. Cleveland Metro Parks is reopening Merwin's Wharf in the Flats starting this Thursday. There will be patio dining, carry-out and walk-up window service available. Inside dining, though, will remain closed. The restaurant will open every Thursday through Sunday from 11 a.m. until 8 p.m.
Betsy, that gender reveal gone wrong.
Yeah.
The video, I mean, we got to talk about it. The video is just, it's hard to even watch, but thinking that it started at someone's gender reveal, something that's supposed to be so happy,
right,
and it clearly it's ending in tragedy. It's horrible, sad video.
Well, people think things are very innocent and it won't go wrong, but sometimes it certainly can, and they are in extreme fire danger situations out there all along the West Coast and into the mountains. So any little spark can go bad, and so hopefully they'll be able to get that under control pretty soon. It's a scary situation for them for sure. All right, Laura, we're going to keep on trucking here because we have thousands more students heading back to school tomorrow here in Northeast Ohio, including the Cleveland Metropolitan School District. And school leaders across the area want everyone to know that they understand these are challenging times for families. The primary focus, of course, is making sure students learn and stay safe amid this pandemic. Knowing health and safety are huge concerns. School leaders are meeting with boards of health weekly and trying to make the best decisions possible, not just for students, but for teachers, faculty, and staff too.
This is an emotional time, and we have to the best of our ability, remove that emotion and that anxiety that happens and rely on the science that we have. And at the same time, unfortunately, it's become politicized, and it can't be a political decision either.
Well, while some schools are opening in person, others are on a hybrid plan or starting all remote. School district superintendents will continue to evaluate COVID cases to make decisions on if the second quarter will be in person, hybrid, or virtual.
Not only do school officials have to worry about COVID, Flu season is also coming. Vaccine manufacturers have been stepping up production. The 4 major makers of flu shots say they plan to supply almost 200 million doses of the vaccine to the U.S. And while the flu shot is not perfect, doctors say it still prevents millions of illnesses and thousands of hospitalizations.
Influenza vaccination has also been shown to lessen the severity of illness. And so while we may get a mild case of influenza, there'll be less of the severe cases of influenza.
Experts say it is possible we'll see less flu this year because of COVID-19 related social distancing and also wearing those masks. Up next, overcoming obstacles. What really had to happen behind the scenes to make an all-new American Ninja Warrior season happen?
That is a favorite show in our household, and my 5-year-old is like a little spider monkey some days. It's terrifying what they can do. But we're also going to be talking about COVID cost cutting. We have some tips to help you save money the next time you head to the grocery store.
And keep your Browns questions coming. Text your questions with the phrase, "Hey Jimmy," to 216-344-3300. That's a text, not a phone call. And don't forget to include your name and also where you're from. Jim will answer a few this Wednesday. Fun stuff.
Front Row is sponsored by Window Nation. Online at windownation.com.
Download the Hooley House app and you'll have Hooley House right in the palm of your hand. 4 great locations to choose from: Brooklyn, Mentor, Westlake, and Montrose. 3 great ways to get your food: dine in, carry out, or home delivery. 2 great menus, food and drink, and 1 great app that makes it safer and easier to enjoy your Hooley House than ever before. At Hooley House, we have one goal: to make sure you can safely enjoy our fabulous menu every day. So come on in or go online to thehooley.com.
Well, it took several months, but NBC's American Ninja Warrior finally navigated all of the hurdles that COVID-19 put in front of it, and they have put together a new season that starts tonight at 8. Our Brandon Simmons gives us a front row at what we can expect.
As the ninja who designs obstacles crush them tonight.
For a show all about overcoming obstacles, American Ninja Warrior faced its toughest one with COVID-19.
I assumed the worst, that this season wasn't going to happen.
But by mid-July, much like the NBA and NHL, Ninja Warrior created its own competition bubble in St. Louis's Dome at America's Center.
Even though it's an 80,000-seat dome, the seats were empty.
Competitors, cast, and crew all had to adhere to testing and safety protocols.
After every run, they had to clean the course. Any contact surface had to be wiped down.
And here we go, Flip Rodriguez.
That meant just 50 veteran ninjas taking part, but they each chose 2 rookie ninjas to bring along.
Yeah, her fellow moms showing support.
Jody Avila brought his wife, Pauline, an ICU nurse on the front lines of the pandemic.
After the last few months that we've been through, hitting a buzzer this year for my family, especially with my wife watching on the sideline, would be amazing.
The Ninjas also got a boost from virtual supporters in taking on a new array of obstacles.
Oh, just missed it. We saw them moving faster than we normally do. We saw them doing things that, I mean, heck, I think we saw a man fly.
The fastest to reach and conquer the Bubble's Power Tower at season's end wins $100,000.
It felt as energetic as anything we've ever done because every ninja and every one of us knew how lucky we were to be doing this.
A ninja season like no other. I'm Brandon Simmons, 3 News.
It always makes me laugh when I watch that show because typically I'm either here at work or I'm home on the couch and I'm eating something and not working out, and it makes me feel
I know.
guilty.
Isn't that the worst when you're watching something like that and you're looking down at your bowl and you're like, oh, should I be? But you know what? This season, it's so true what they were saying is they know they're so lucky to be there that they want to work even harder. I'm really excited for it. You know, we've been talking about it for a few weeks now. So here we go. That was your front row look, and I think it's going to be a good one too, Betsy.
And the backstories they bring into it are always so incredible too. It just you cheer for everybody. It's always an uplifting thing.
So
Boy,
true.
we need something to watch tonight too, because not a great night to be out walking around. Although there are some folks who probably have to go out and clean out some drains around their property. things are still clogged up in the area. We have a really interesting look at some of the rivers coming up. But looking ahead for the evening, we're going to hold here right about 70 or so. Cloudy skies, yeah, more scattered shower and storm chances will be coming back at us as we start the day tomorrow in some locations too. So we get a check of the radar, and there's some things that are changing and some things that aren't changing. What's not changing? It's still raining in Northeast Ohio. But what is changing is that things are starting to fade south. And look how that thunderstorm that came roaring through portions of Coshocton County is fizzling. The lightning is going away. So that means that storm is collapsing. But we also have these little showers that are popping here around the greater Akron area coming in out of Medina County. So this is headed right over Copley and Fairlawn right now. That will continue to move right along Market Street, actually, and then right into Akron. You can tell my old stomping grounds. That's where I grew up, that west side of Akron area into Copley. But that is not really anything that's going to put into place more significant problems than what you've already dealt with. Farther south into portions of Stark County, we're still seeing some of that heavy rain right now. A few lightning strikes also showing up in these locations. And we have had a pretty decent hit of rain in these locations, but not a ton of it coming down right now. The rain rates that we've been talking about as being so important aren't really anything that can't be handled at this point. We're talking about maybe a ½ inch to 1 inch per hour rain rates in this location. Farther south, though, in Tuscarawas County, this is where we're dealing with the higher rain rates. So the intense rainfall where you see these pinks and purples, Naden Hutton area and over toward the east, that's where we're talking about the 3, 4, 5 inch per hour rain rates. And we had that for a few hours this morning farther north up into Cuyahoga County and lakeshore areas. And that's why we still have these river flood warnings. The dark green boxes are river flood warnings. Check this out. This is exactly what we mean by a flash flood. Low water levels, and then all of a sudden it rains real hard. Poof, that thing flashed. It gets real high, real crazy, real quick, and then it drains away. But check this out. Cuyahoga River at Independence is currently at its 9th highest level on record, and it all has taken place since early this morning. It's at 6 a.m., and it's expected to crest sometime tonight, probably at about the 8th highest crest on record. That is pretty impressive stuff. Temperatures are in the 60s. We're going to stay here. We've got a couple of fronts off to the north of us that are going to stay with us too. So tomorrow we will put in some chances for some showers and thunderstorms, especially early in the day. Then later in the day we get to see some sunshine. The rest of your Universal Windows Direct forecast keeps it hot and muggy into Wednesday with mostly sunny skies. We'll cool it off a bit Thursday into Friday, but our next chance for rain and rumbles will be coming our way as we get into the weekend. We'll be right back.
To consumer news now. With all of us staying home a lot more, have you noticed your grocery bill going up? Well, you're not alone. And according to the USDA prices at the store, they've jumped about 3% this year. But here's a front row look at how to save some money. Okay, so experts say first, when it comes to fruits and veggies, buy what's in season. It'll taste better and it'll save you money. Next, try store brands. The quality is usually just as good. 3, shop frequently. It may sound counterintuitive, but regular visits can help keep you from overbuying in one big trip, and in my case, wasting food. And also, pay attention to your receipt.
Look to see where you're spending your money. Where do you think maybe you spent a little bit too much and it was wasted? It's really interesting to look at a receipt a week or 2 weeks after you took that grocery trip and said, okay, well, whatever happened to this? We never made that recipe that we said we were going to. Pay attention to those things.
And even if you use just one of these tips, it can save you money in the long run. I think a big one is shopping more frequently, even though with coronavirus, you know, how much do you want to get out in the store? Right. But, you know, pre-coronavirus, I would say that's a good way to be. Betsy, do you have any money-saving tips to share for us?
I mean, I have 2 kids, so it's like a constant graze, unfortunately. I'm trying to establish more of like a meal plan, I guess, now that school has started and we can get kind of into a scheduled groove, even though they're home. You know, that would hopefully save us a little bit, but we still kind of have to provide the snack time snacks that do the grazing, and that's the most expensive thing, or the darn snacks.
Yeah. And I'm sure that they have a snack that they love, that they want, right?
Oh,
like
it's
most
total
kids
junk.
do.
Absolutely, that's what they want. Gummy bears and Cheez-Its.
Oh, that sounds so good, though.
Right?
All right.
You could be a kindergartner again. I'll get you some gummy bears.
Thanks.
We've got the connection for you, Laura, for sure. All right, everybody. If you drive a Hyundai or a Kia, listen up, or Hyundai, depending on how you say it. There's a recall to tell you about. It involves a brake fluid leak that could cause an engine fire. The models involved are the 2013 to 2015 Kia Optima midsize sedans and the 2014 and 15 Kia Sorento SUVs. Also, the 2015 Hyundai Santa Fe. Owners will be notified in October. Well, coming up, a homemade coaster. What inspired a grandpa and his grandson to try their luck at building a thrill ride?
Here's what's coming up tonight on 3. Trust the experts at Stanek Windows. We make the process easy. No hassles, no middlemen. Just beautifully crafted quality windows built to last. Call us today.
All right, before we go, a Rhode Island grandfather and his grandson used their stay-at-home time to build, yeah, you're looking at it, that is a homemade roller coaster.
Okay, now keep this in mind. Grandson Elliot is studying to be an engineer. That really helps a lot in this point. But when his college shut down in the spring, he decided to put what he learned to good use. So the result, put Grandpa on a roller coaster in the backyard. And they're not done yet. They plan to add to it next summer.
And there he goes. And look, it's a well-oiled machine. It looks like it's running pretty well.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Entertainment Tonight is coming up next.
And we are back at 11. Have a good night.